In today's edition of Jamaica Magazine, we take you behind the scenes of the ceremonial opening of Parliament, plus learn about the benefits of listening to some good music, and later a detailed examination of heart failure. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay tuned.
Know your numbers and control the keys to a healthier heart. Know the numbers for your blood pressure, cholesterol level, blood glucose level, and your weight and body mass index. Find out the risks they represent and what you need to do to stay healthy. Talk to your doctor and start making healthy lifestyle choices to prevent a heart attack or stroke.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, February 8. Prime Minister Andrew Holness convened a special meeting of Cabinet today to review recommendations made by the National Security Council to combat crime. The recommendations came out of the Prime Minister's all-day meeting with the National Security Council on Tuesday. That meeting assessed the current crime trends, including those committed against women and children, as well as the emerging practice of circulating videos depicting the commission of crimes. Meanwhile, wife of the Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for East Rural St. Andrew, Juliet Holness, is calling on the nation to unite to protect our women and children.
This fight will never be won on an individual basis. It calls for collective action. This calls for a commitment of all Jamaicans, teachers, pastors, members of the security forces, the business community, everybody to report these instances of violence.
In a special message on the issue, Mrs. Holness expressed support for the commencement of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament to review laws to protect women and children. She's also encouraging a change of attitude towards women and children.
Our contribution as women is invaluable as we continue to hold the family structure together and provide a safe haven for our children to realize their dreams. Our children are a blessing. Their innocence gives enough reason for us to protect them.
And government has unveiled a new initiative designed to promote awareness and end instances of child abuse. The Office of the Children's Advocate, OCA, has launched an online animated miniseries that aims to equip children with the tools to ask for help and report abuse. Called Aria's Story, it uses real instances of child abuse to inform the tale of a young girl who finds the freedom to expose and end her own abuse through the stories of 6 characters in a book she reads.
Our hope is for children in Jamaica to be empowered through the knowledge that they will garner, to be assured that they are not alone in their various situations, and also for adults to be exposed to the realities that some of our children face, and ultimately for these adults to model appropriate responses to these situations.
Aria's Story was developed with funding support from the High Commission of Canada in Jamaica. In other news, restorative justice centers will be expanded to all parishes in the coming financial year. There are now 3 restorative justice centers in Kingston and St. Andrew, 3 in St. Catherine, 2 in Clarendon, 1 in St. James, and 1 in Westmoreland. Permanent Secretary at the Justice Ministry, Carol Palmer, says provision has been made in the new budget for the expansion of the program to take effect April 1. She was delivering a message by the Portfolio Minister, Delroy Chuck, at Sunday's church service to open National Restorative Justice Week.
The Law Reform Miscellaneous Amendments Restorative Justice Act was passed last year. This act is aimed at integrating the restorative justice program into Jamaica's criminal justice system.
Restorative justice provides options for positive social transformation by equipping citizens and communities with more effective and peaceful means of resolving conflicts. Restorative Justice Week, which ends on Friday, is being observed under the theme Building Restorative Communities in Faith Groups, School and Community. And finally, $260 million will be spent to remove zinc fences in 11 communities. On Tuesday, a financing agreement worth $18 million was signed to carry out fence removal in Barrett Town, St. James. The other communities are located in the parishes of Kingston, St. Andrew, Clarendon, St. Anne, and Westmoreland. The project is being implemented under the Jamaica Social Investment Fund's Integrated Community Development Project with funding through a World Bank loan.
The zinc fence removal program will go roughly for the next 6 to 8 weeks at least, focusing on the removal of zinc fences and being really what will be the entry of our next infrastructure investment, which will be the road rehabilitation, drain, and other infrastructure program, which we expect to come on stream between March, April, around that time.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Terrible storms, drought, food shortages. Climate change is real. We can't stop it, but we can slow it down. Conserve water, plant trees, recycle, practice rainwater harvesting, use good agricultural practices. Contact the Climate Change Division at 906-0724 for more information.
The ceremonial opening of Parliament takes place tomorrow. This ceremony is usually marked with much pomp and pageantry. Come along with us as we show you what to expect from this long-standing tradition.
Every year, the members of both houses of Parliament, MPs and senators, come together in this chamber. They sit jointly in a ceremony that marks the beginning of a new parliamentary year. The highlight of this critical event is the Governor-General's throne speech. This is among several spectacular activities that are all part of the grandeur that is the ceremonial opening of Parliament. With its seed firmly grounded in the United Kingdom, new growth sprouted here in Jamaica, allowing us to harvest the traditions of the British parliamentary system. The roots were anchored in 1962 when Princess Margaret delivered the throne speech to a newly independent Jamaica, and since then, the traditions of the ceremonial opening of Parliament have mushroomed into an annual event. The Jamaica Defence Force, the JDF, plays a vital role. It furnishes the Guard of Honor, which consists of over 100 military personnel.
The Guard of Honor is formed to receive His Excellency to come to Parliament to give the throne speech.
Smartly clad in their scarlet tunics, the military ceremonial dress, the Guards of Honor are placed in a specific formation.
So when you look on the parade, what you will find is the right off with the Guard Commander stand to the front. Then in the center, you'll have the color party. Then to the left, you have the left off with the subaltern to the guard.
The color party includes the color ensigns and the escorts.
These are two officers who will be honored to carry the colors of the unit.
The color ensigns salute the Governor-General with what appears to be flags, but in fact they are called colors. The color that resembles the Jamaican flag is known as the Queen's color, symbolizing the monarch as Jamaica's head of state. The other color represents the regiment or unit of the JDF that forms the Guard of Honor. In this case, since the regimental color is maroon, it symbolizes that the 2nd Battalion Jamaica Regiment comprises the Guard of Honor.
The streetliners march into position first, then the Guard of Honor march into position. Then we await the arrivals.
The Commissioner of Police usually arrives first and awaits the wife of the Governor-General. His arrival is followed by that of the Chief of Defense Staff.
He will come and go onto the saluting dais, and he will receive a sword salute, in which he glances over and have a quick look at his troops to ensure everything is intact and everything is okay to receive His Excellency. Then he'll go and await the arrival of His Excellency.
When the wife of His Excellency arrives, she's escorted in chamber. Then the main event. He walks onto the red carpet.
Well, the red carpet, traditionally, from way back, is the form of showing people courtesy if they are VIPs.
And later,
you'll receive a royal salute.
Royal salute!
Although the flag code for the national flag says that it must never touch the ground, the Queen's colour, which is in many respects in the design format of the national flag, does properly touch the ground as a sort of, if you like, supreme compliment to the head of state, or in this case, the standing representative of the head of state.
In essence, the colours touching the ground is not a form of disrespect. It's the highest compliment being paid to the Governor-General. He then proceeds to inspect the guard, and after the second royal salute, His Excellency is escorted into the chamber. A flourish of trumpets signals his arrival in Gordon House.
That is something that can be used to herald somebody important entering a room or a building.
In addition to the usual pomp and pageantry, the ceremonial opening of Parliament brings together members of the House of Representatives and the Senate, the judiciary, high-ranking officials, and members of the public. Members of Parliament aligned to the People's National Party enter Parliament by walking from the southern end of Duke Street, while those aligned to the Jamaica Labour Party walk from the northern end.
It started, as far as I recall, with the JLP walking down Duke Street, because they used to assemble in the BIT headquarters a little further up the road. So the PNP, whether they'd been walking from somewhere before or just came in individually, I honestly don't recall. So they said, well, we'll have to come from the opposite direction. So they go up and the JLP come down.
All then gather together inside Gordon House to listen to the throne speech being presented by His Excellency the Governor-General.
I'm pleased to present to you the throne speech.
It is the speech on behalf of the government saying what its parliamentary policies and its intentions, executive intentions, are for the coming parliamentary term.
The conclusion of the throne speech marks the end of the ceremonial opening of Parliament.
It makes more fun, and people can be more interested in their parliament if there's a little ceremony at the beginning. You get hundreds of people, coming to watch the event because they enjoy it. They enjoy seeing the guard, and they enjoy seeing the mounted troop, the horsemen coming down the road, and the important people, and the Governor-General in his lounge suit, business suit with all his orders and decorations, and other people all dressed up wearing decorations where applicable and so on.
So now that you understand the intricacies surrounding the ceremonial opening of Parliament, no doubt you will have a greater appreciation for the event and the many splendid traditions.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, available online. JIS is everywhere.
As we continue to observe Reggae Month and honor the contributions of our musicians, we tune in to the benefits of listening to music in our next feature.
You have to actually listen to other persons while you're playing, while as focused on what you're doing.
This is the cello. It's the middle of the string instrument. The strings are easy to remember and it's easy to play. I'm not wonderfully great in it, but I know that I can do something.
Anytime I'm having a bad day, I just turn on my radio, listen to my songs, or play my violin. And it kind of calms down everything.
3 promising young persons sharing one goal. They are among many others seeking to take full advantage of the offerings of the National Youth Orchestra of Jamaica. Lying at its core, classical music and its transformational powers.
If the music is quiet and calming, it actually can lower our blood pressure. If the music is fast, then it can actually increase our heartbeat, and it also affects our brain waves because the brain has different frequencies of brain waves according to how active we are. So the music gets in sync with the brain waves, so it can actually affect our brains.
Here's a simple question. Would you exercise with slow-paced music in the background? Or even try to fall asleep while listening to hardcore dancehall, for example? That's right. Without us even thinking about it, music has a big part to play in how we do things. The effects of music on individuals are far-reaching. It has the potential to affect the physical, intellectual, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and social aspects of our lives.
I'm from Maxfield Avenue. Living in such area, you know, lots of violence and stuff. When I want to escape, I think of my cello and just think of the music, that it just imagine that I'm playing it and just escape and go to that special place.
We've seen people who moved from fighting each other to helping each other in the classes. Like when we first started, it used to be, oh my goodness, you're playing the wrong note. What kind of thing that? You're making us playing it again. And now it's like, okay, you're having problems, let me help you.
While it's perhaps easy to understand the potential that classical music has to calm us in stressful situations, it is the physical and intellectual benefits which might amaze most.
There is a connection between the mind and the body. So when we have negative thoughts and we have a feeling of hatred, then our immune system doesn't function very well.
I met one kid in Colombia. He was hyperactive, and he turned out to be a great violist just by focusing his energies into music.
We find that high frequency sounds like strings, flute, and so on actually seem to make more connections in the brain. So that's why they think that if you play music for babies, even in the womb, because they can hear, that those high frequency sounds actually make more brain connections, so they're brighter kids.
Music is simple like maths and English.
Music by itself has many positives, but for those who are part of musical groups, there are added benefits too.
It has a lot of discipline.
You'll have to interact with all of your partners. You will have to learn to listen to each other. So that way you will improve your personal relationships with everyone else.
It teaches you how to act as a team, so it gives you critical problem-solving skills.
While it's a fact that soft, soothing music works wonders, the experts are not denying there is a place for loud, pulsating music, but they suggest everything in moderation.
It helps sometimes to get rid of frustration, and sometimes that really is necessary. But we can't have it all the time, because anything you pay attention to manifests.
So with all the benefits outlined, it may be worth more than its weight in gold to slow down, pay attention, and change the beat.
The heart is one of the most fascinating organs in the human body. Each day, the heart beats about 100,000 times and pumps about 2,000 gallons of blood around the body. While we can live for a while without certain organs, when our heart fails, if medical treatment is not received on time, it can mean death. Up next, how you can protect this special organ.
According to medical experts, heart failure is a progressive condition in which the heart muscle has been damaged by disease or injury and cannot pump enough blood and oxygen to the body. The severity of heart failure determines the impact it has on a person's life. According to Dr. Knox Hagley, chairman of the Heart Foundation of Jamaica, the mild form of heart failure may have little effect on person's life, while severe heart failure can interfere with even simple activities and prove fatal. He said all forms of heart failure, even the mildest, pose a serious health problem which must be treated promptly.
To understand what is meant by heart failure, you need to take into consideration that the heart is a pump. And any good pump, any efficient pump, whatever goes into that pump, the pump pumps it out. And if the pump is not doing that, it is failing. It's a similar thing with the heart failure. Blood goes into the right side of the heart from the body, and the right side of the heart pumps it into the lungs. And if the right side of the heart has failed to do this properly, it is called a right-sided heart failure. The blood leaves the lungs and goes into the left side of the heart, and the left side of the heart then pumps the blood to the rest of the body. And if, in fact, the left side of the heart is not doing this efficiently, left-sided heart failure occurs. And quite often, both left and right sides of the heart have failed in such a case, and so we call that congestive heart failure. Then we go on to the older children. And in the children, usually from 5 to 12, 15, but it may occur at earlier age, is a condition called rheumatic heart disease. This is really a manifestation of rheumatic fever, which occurs predominantly in children with fever, and it presents with fever and pains in the joints, and in such a case, the heart may be affected. We see this among children, even new cases. And it is rheumatic heart disease is in fact still one of the major causes of cardiac surgery that we see here.
Dr. Hagley said in the older age group, heart failure does not happen in a vacuum. It is closely associated with major risk factors.
We look at things like high blood pressure, which may begin to appear usually in the 30s, sometimes early on. But long-standing high blood pressure will lead to heart disease, because high blood pressure, in addition to the fact that it gives the left side of the heart extra work to do, and so the heart muscle will become enlarged, as you would expect. But in addition to that, the high blood pressure causes certain changes in the arteries which carry the blood to the tissues. And the result of those changes really is a narrowing of the channel to the arteries, and that includes the arteries which are carrying blood to the heart muscle. The other major cause of heart disease in adults in today's world is a condition called coronary heart disease. That is the disease that leads to heart attacks, for instance. Everybody knows about heart attacks. Well, the changes which occur in this condition are the changes that are different from high blood pressure, in that the changes occur on the lining of the arteries, as you see here, and eventually those changes lead to narrowing of the vessels and then inadequate blood flow. If that vessel becomes blocked, a heart attack will occur. And of course, the heart, part of the heart muscle which was dependent on that blood flow will be affected. Sometimes it may be a much more insidious process that the individual may not recall having a heart attack in a sense, but over the years, the channels become so narrow that the blood flow throughout is reduced, so the heart as a whole suffers from this, and they go into heart failure eventually.
Beside the major risk factors, Dr. Hagley said there are other factors that could accelerate the process of coronary heart disease that would eventually lead to heart failure.
The condition called coronary artery disease, it is a condition that occurs in all of us, but there are a number of factors which will lead to an acceleration of the process. Uncontrolled high blood pressure, uncontrolled diabetes, uncontrolled blood sugar levels, cigarette smoking, overweight, sedentary type of activity of living, high levels of cholesterol, all these factors will lead to an acceleration of the process which is taking place in the coronary arteries and of course other arteries in the body, and then they will make it more likely for the individual to develop coronary heart disease.
Some of the signs and symptoms of heart failure include shortness of breath when exercising or at rest, swelling of legs, ankles, and feet, chronic lack of energy and weakness, difficulty sleeping due to breathing problems, persistent coughing with frothy sputum or wheezing, rapid weight gain, swollen or tender abdomen, lack of appetite, and nausea. Dr. Hagley said heart failure can be prevented.
Of course, the prevention of heart failure is really the prevention of the causes of heart failure.
Causes of heart diseases that could lead to heart failure are high cholesterol levels, high blood pressure, diabetes and abnormal blood sugar levels, obesity, and smoking. Remember that it is never too late to reduce your risk of developing heart failure and other heart-related diseases. But the time to act is now. Medical experts say as soon as you do something about the risk factors, you have a good chance of not developing the disease. Some key things to remember: plan a healthy diet, reduce stress by learning to relax, lower your blood pressure level, exercise regularly, give up smoking, limit the amount of alcohol you drink, and take medication as directed by your doctor. For further information on heart failure or other heart diseases, consult your doctor. You can also get valuable information from any government hospital or clinic across the island.
Many persons feel as if they don't have enough time. But if we look at how we spend our time, we'll see that a good amount of it is used doing things that are not productive. So how can we make the most of the time that we have? A to-do list is a good place to start. Each day, make a list of things that you need to do and cross them off as soon as they are done. This way, you can devote less time thinking about things that you need to do and more time doing them. Don't procrastinate. Once you've decided to work on a particular task, start. Procrastination is one of the biggest robbers of our time. Then, limit or cut out distractions. Checking emails, visiting social networks, or watching videos online eats away at time that we can use to complete tasks. If you follow these simple steps, you can become more productive and have more time to play your part in making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. Today's show has come to an end, but information from JIS is always at your fingertips. Visit our website, jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JIS News or like our Facebook page. Got feedback or comments on today's show? Send us an email, jamaicamagazine@jis.gov.jm. On behalf of all of us here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.